Are we live?
Yes.
Okay, awesome. I think we're live. Hello, everybody.
Welcome.
Welcome. Thank you for watching this, whether you're watching this live or watching the recorded version at a later time. I hope you're having a fabulous day right now or night, depending on when you're watching this. I am Dr. Zhu, and again, we have Scott joining us for this live session today. So first of all, congratulations. We're in week 15 starting today, which means we're almost done. We're at the end of the semester, and you've certainly accomplished a lot, and hopefully you feel that you've learned a lot through this course. And since there haven't been any questions posted on the discussion board for today's live session, I will give you a few reminders, and I will provide a summary of what we've done this semester and what comes next for you. So first of all, we do still have some final assignments that are due in about a week. And these assignments include 2 final e-portfolio reflections. One of them is about the disaster relief project. Now that we're wrapping it up, and you've gone through the design process and come to a final design. So it is time to reflect the process you have applied to tackle this design challenge. And then the second e-portfolio assignment is a final course reflection to help you reflect on what you've learned and what skills you have gained through this course this semester. Then we have the final disaster relief project report, which is your opportunity to summarize and describe your final design from the opportunity that you have identified all the way through the different subsystems and different aspects of your design. So it is an all-encompassing description of the entire thing from the beginning to the end. And I definitely recommend looking at the final report description document to see what information should be included, and also the rubrics, which we will be using to evaluate your final report. So it will be a very helpful document for you to make sure that you're on the right track. That would help you with the content to be included in the final report. I also want to mention that hopefully you will be applying what you've learned in one of the earlier weeks when we talked about technical communication to properly format your final report according to the guidelines that we have provided. For example, how to properly format a table, a figure, how to appropriately cite references and sources. So definitely, if you don't remember some of those details, definitely go back and take a look at some of the video lectures or the slides provided about technical communication guidelines, and make sure you format your final report professionally. So those are the final assignments that are due in about a week. And besides those assignments, the final thing for this course is a final exam that will be open in about a week, and it will start to open in about a week, and you will have about a week to complete it. It will close like in about 2 weeks, that means. So this final exam is comprehensive. It will cover topics that we have introduced from week 1 all the way to week 14. And I know that that's a lot of topics, and there will be 60 questions on the final exam. I would definitely recommend checking out the final exam study guide that we have posted on the course web page that has a list of topics that you should review and specific things within each topic area that you need to know in order to do well on this final exam. When you look at the final exam study guide, I would recommend ask yourself a few questions for each of the topics listed. So for example, if the topic is decision matrix, then ask yourself, what exactly is a decision matrix? What is it used for? How do I use it? How is it, what do the numbers mean? It's a table, okay. What are the rows and columns, and how do I fill it in? How do I do the calculations? So ask yourself a bunch of questions. If you can answer all of them, then I think you're good for that topic. But if not, then you could always go back to review the lecture videos or the slides or your notes if you have taken any while studying that material. You can also take a look at the weekly outlines. They also have, topics that are covered in each week to help you remember, what specific topics have been covered up to this point. Another recommendation I have is to go through some of the content mastery quizzes again to see if you can still do those questions correctly, and that would be a good check to see if you need to go back and do some review or if you're good on some topics. So if you take the final exam proctored, you will have 3 hours to complete it. I would definitely recommend starting early. Don't wait until the last minute, because if you do that, and if there are some technical issues, then you won't be able to retake it or have those technical issues resolved before you can take it before the deadline. So definitely start early and make sure you do it before the deadline. If any technical issues do occur, please do contact Earn Admissions at ASU to let them know about the issues and see what resolutions might be available for you to take the final exam, to complete the final exam. All right, so those are all the reminders. And for those of you who are on the credit eligible track, I have some reminders for you as well. So to become credit eligible for this course, the first step is to be ID verified. And for those of you who are on this track, I assume you have all done that at the beginning of the semester. And if you are ID verified, there are some requirements that you must complete in order to earn credit eligibility. The first one is to earn an overall grade of C or better for this course, and that means a grade of 70% or above for this course. That's an overall grade. That's the first requirement. The second requirement is to take the final exam proctored. Okay, if you don't remember the requirements for proctoring for final exam, at the start of the course, if you go to the course, go to the before the course begins section, and we do have a little section that talks about proctoring. So go back and review the requirements again to make sure you can have the final exam proctored properly, and I will pass the review for proctoring. So for these two requirements, now, even though right now without the final exam, you have already earned a grade of C or better, 70% or more, that's good for you. But in order to become credit eligible for the course, even if that's the case, you still need to take the final exam proctored. So that's a hard requirement. And once you have passed both requirements, then you will become credit eligible. That means you could choose to purchase credit for this course, and that is ASU credit, college credit. So this course is equivalent to our on-site FSE 100 Introduction to Engineering course. So basically, you're getting credit that's equivalent to the on-site version of the course, and you can utilize the credit toward an engineering degree. We welcome you to come and join us at ASU on campus. Hopefully, I will be seeing some of you on campus in the future. You can also choose to enroll in one of our online programs. We have quite a few online degree programs within engineering. Or if you choose to earn an engineering degree in a different college, you could also check to see if they accept ESU credit. And if so, you can use the credit toward your degree in some other institution as well. So another thing is that you have about up to a year to decide if you want to purchase credit for this course or not after you become credit eligible. And your credit eligibility date may differ from the course end date. To check your credit eligibility date, what you could do is to go to your course progress page. And on that page, you will see all the requirements listed. And if they have all been completed and reviewed, there will be green check marks before each one of them. And it will say something like completed. And then the page will have a link to go to your dashboard, and that is where you could purchase credit for this course. Okay, again, I do hope that those of you who are credit eligible can come and join us on our campus in the future. Okay, so that's all about credit eligibility. So that's all the reminders I have, a long list of reminders. At this point, do we have anybody posting any questions?
I don't see any questions.
Okay, so since we still don't have any questions, I will just provide a summary of this course. It's been 15 weeks. It's been 14 weeks. We're starting week 15. It's been 14 weeks. And if you think about it, we've covered so many topics and skills that are all important for engineers, for an engineering degree. So we have not only showing you some different engineering disciplines through the disaster relief project, we have also focused on a new way of thinking. How we focused on how engineers solve problems. We focused on the design process, and that is a very important topic for this course. So we have introduced a lot of design-specific topics and tools and skills. For example, the first thing that we emphasized is the entrepreneurial mindset. So nowadays in this global economy, having a technical skill set alone is definitely not enough for you to excel and be able to innovate in whichever field that you're working at. So the entrepreneurial mindset is the force that actually drives innovation. It focuses on the 3 C's that we have introduced: curiosity, connections, and creating value. And it definitely focuses on the customer, which is always at the center of the design process. We always need to keep them in mind, because at the end of the day, we're creating something that will address their needs, that will create value for our customers. So we definitely talked about that, and we talked about customer discovery, how that is different from product development and how to conduct interviews, customer interviews, and we introduced concepts such as customer archetype, which helps you better empathize with your customers so that you could better understand their needs. And then we also talked about topics such as POV statements, how to properly define a problem once you have an understanding of your customer's needs. We talked about problem statements. We talked about how to define appropriate design requirements and criteria. We introduced a tool called AHP that helps us to weigh different criteria based on their importance to the customer. And then we talked about how to imagine possible design solutions. We introduced quite a few creative problem-solving tools or brainstorming techniques. And then we talked about decision metrics, which we could use to help us make a design decision based on the weighted design criteria. We also talked about some other tools that could be used in the design process, such as a Gantt chart. So that is to help us with project planning. We also talked about cash flow diagram, which we can use to help us perform financial analysis to help us determine the financial feasibility of a design solution. And we talked about project testing, which sometimes seems to be boring, but is very important, because we always need to verify that our design solution is successfully meeting all the design requirements. And that is something that we could show as a proof to our customer that the design is successful. So besides all the design-related topics and tools and skills, we have also covered some technical skills and tools. For example, we have introduced the Autodesk Fusion 360, a 3D modeling and design tool. We have also introduced Arduino programming. We use that to help us with automation. we have introduced Tinkercad. You have used that which is a simulated environment. You have used this environment to help you with your circuits and with your codes for programming. And we also talked about some other skills and tools that are important for successful engineers. For example, we had discussions about technical communication. It is one thing that as engineers, we have great ideas. It is another thing if I can make sure others can understand our ideas, if we can communicate our ideas effectively to others. So technical communication, a very important skill. We've also introduced the skill of modeling. We introduced predictive modeling and descriptive modeling. So modeling is a very important engineering activity that sets engineering problem solving apart from a hobbyist approach, a trial and error type of approach. We use modeling for a lot of purposes to help us predict performance of a system, to help us understand design behaviors, to help us make design decisions that are informed. And we use descriptive modeling to help us describe different aspects of design solutions. So that's another skill that we have introduced in this course and emphasized on. We also talked about technical drawing. It's a way for us to communicate what a 3D object would look like in 2D. And we talked about project planning and financial analysis. And we definitely have introduced a lot of technical topics, such as topics related to aircraft design and structural analysis, basics of electrical engineering, so electrical fundamentals. So we have really covered a lot of things, and I really hope that you feel that you've learned something that's really useful, whether you choose to pursue an engineering degree from this point or not. I hope that you've changed all of the skills and tools that we have given you through this course have changed the way that you solve problems and change the way that you look at problems in the world that you can help with. So now that you have gained all these skills through this course, what to do next? So you might have noticed, if you have already looked at week 15 materials, in week 15, we have some videos that discuss how to leverage your skills. So we have some discussions about how to continue to develop your e-portfolio beyond this course. And we certainly hope that you do utilize your e-portfolio to continue to showcase new skills that you will gain in the future, and you use it for employment purposes and other opportunities that come down the road. So it's a great way to showcase what you have accomplished, to showcase your competencies, and to show that it's basically a marketing tool when you are in the job market. Is to help potential employers better understand the details of the projects that you have completed or any other relevant things besides just your one-page resume.
You never know when you're going to be asked during an interview, oh, hey, talk to me about a project you worked on or a problem you had to solve. And you can think about this like, hey, there was a natural disaster and I came up with a solution for that. And that's a lot better than, oh, I was stuck and I, folded over some pieces of paper and did something. It gives a little bit deeper meaning to it.
Definitely. And speaking of the disaster relief project, I do hope that you feel really good that you have tackled such a big design challenge. If you think about it, it is a multidisciplinary systems design problem. It's quite a journey. We started by looking at all the different disaster scenarios, and you've done customer discovery. You've identified some opportunities, missions that you want your design to help with, And we looked at a lot of different aspects of aircraft designs. We focused on human-centered design. So you identified, mission profiles, and for those mission profiles, you came up with a interior layout design. You identified all the payload items that will be needed to help you with the mission profile that you have identified. And then from the interior layout design, we moved on to aircraft wings and the support, the spar that goes into the wings. And then we looked at automated features for your aircraft. Then we've done financial analysis and project testing. So it's really quite a big, it's a very large system. And we've shown you how engineers approach the design of large systems like that. We tackle one aspect at a time while keeping in mind that the design decisions we make for one aspect of the entire system will affect other systems. So design iterations are definitely needed throughout the process. So hopefully through this project, you've learned something about big systems design and have learned how to approach design problems like this. Okay, is there anything else that you?
Just be proud of yourself. I mean, you designed an entire aircraft. That's like really cool. You can always look back at it. If anything, look at your drawings and just see how far you came. Because I don't know about you, but I probably would never have thought that I've been able to do this, right? But then when you put it into little bite-sized pieces, then all of a sudden you have this awesome end product. So just keep that in mind. Doing great.
Yeah. That is definitely quite an accomplishment. And yeah.
I don't have anything else.
Okay.
Yeah, everyone's doing great.
So yes. So I just wanted to say that thank you so much to those of you who have always been actively participating in the discussions and who have been asking questions through the discussion boards. I've definitely enjoyed this journey with you from the beginning to now. It's definitely been a journey, and it's a very enjoyable journey with all of you. I wish you all the best for your future endeavors, whether you choose to. Hopefully you will be pursuing an engineering degree, and hopefully you can utilize what you've learned through this course toward that, or toward any other goals that you might have. All right.
Yeah.
So thank you again for joining us, for watching this video, and I'll talk to you later.
Yeah, thanks for a great semester, everyone.
Thank you.
Finish strong.
Yeah. Bye.